You ever come home and find someone just standing on your lawn like they own the place? Yeah, that happened. I got back a day early from a work trip, hoping for some peace, just a beer on the porch, maybe some jazz in the background, Baxter's old leash still hanging by the door, and instead, there she was. Clipboard in one hand, tape measure in the other, pacing my grass like she was inspecting a crime scene. Her name was Cheryl Denning, president of the Oak Hollow HOA. Legend had it she once fined a guy for a hummingbird feeder being visually disruptive. I hadn't even fully unpacked and I was already in her sights. She didn't say hi. Didn't ask if I'd had a safe trip. Just pointed to the small stone I'd placed near the lake edge. That needs to go, she snapped. I looked at her, then down at the rock. It wasn't even big, maybe a foot across, smooth granite with one simple engraving, Baxter, 2009-2023. The best boy. It was a memorial. For my dog. The one who'd been with me through a divorce, a cross-country move, and more nights than I care to count, where he was the only soul that didn't let me down. It's not compliant, Cheryl added. Violates shoreline beautification standards. Now, I didn't want a fight. I really didn't. But I also wasn't about to let some clipboard tyrant erase my dog from the land he loved. I told her it was staying, that I checked the regs before placing it, and that I wasn't looking for trouble. She gave me that fake little smile, the one that says, "Oh, honey, you just poked the bear." And she walked off without another word. Next day, violation notice. Then another. A letter from the HOA's lawyer threatening daily fines. By the end of the week, I'd racked up $2,500 in supposed non-compliance penalties, and she'd slapped a lien threat on my property. I asked around. Turns out, this was Cheryl's thing. Paul next door got fined for a patio umbrella being too flamboyant. The Mitchells across the lake had to repaint their dock twice in one season because she claimed the shade of white wasn't natural enough. Everyone hated her, but everyone was also too tired or too polite to fight back. But I had time. And I had rage. So I did what any sensible man would do. I went nuclear. Not with yelling, not with lawyers, at least, not yet. I built a flamingo. A big one. 12 feet tall, fiberglass, covered in glitter. I named him Winston. Gave him solar-powered LED eyes and a little jazz speaker in the base that kicked in around sunset. And I put him right next to Baxter Stone. Paul damn near choked on his morning coffee when he saw it. "You're asking for it," he said. "I know," I grinned. "That's the point." It took Cheryl less than 48 hours. She stormed down with 2 board members and a local news guy she must have bribed with banana bread or something. She pointed, shrieked, demanded removal, said the flamingo was a health hazard and a visual atrocity. That's when I hit her with it. I pulled out the old property deed, county records, and a zoning clause from 1952 that clearly stated, lots on the east side of Oak Hollow Lake Mine included were exempt from HOA control. The HOA hadn't had jurisdiction over my property in 70 years. She had no legal leg to stand on. And I wasn't done. Paul handed me a flash drive the next day. Said he'd been holding on to it from his brief stint on the HOA board. Inside. Gold. Fraudulent invoices. Cheryl had been funneling HOA funds through her cousin's landscaping company, billing for projects that never happened, charging triple for mulch, replacing perfectly good fences and pocketing the rest. So I waited. 1 week. Then I showed up at the HOA meeting with a projector, my documents, and a copy of Winston wearing sunglasses on the cover of my community defense report. She tried to shut me down, but the room turned quick. People were fed up. I showed the invoices, the zoning clause, security footage of her trespassing on my property with a screwdriver and a fake "for sale by owner" sign. Then came the twist. Her son, Kai guy no one really talked about, stood up from the back row. Quiet kid, early 30s, works in housing justice of all things. He says, "Come as can be, I warned her. Told her this would happen. She didn't listen." The room froze. He handed me a folder. Inside, a copy of an official complaint he'd filed against his own mother to the State Housing Fraud Division. He tried to stop her months ago. She'd ignored him. Cut him off, even. Cheryl looked like she'd swallowed glass. That night, she tried to skip town. Didn't get far. She was arrested 2 weeks later. Fraud, wire misuse, criminal harassment. She got 6 years. Community service. Fines. The whole HOA collapsed within a month. Nobody wanted to touch the mess she left behind. Me. I added a cowboy hat to Winston. Put up a bench next to Baxter Stone. Folks walk by now and smile, take pictures, even bring their dogs to sit for a while. Paul runs the unofficial Association of Minding Your Own Business. We grill every Saturday, drink too much beer, and toast to Justice and to Baxter, who always did have a nose for good people. But just when we thought it was over, weird stuff started happening again. Unmarked packages. A new neighbor who seemed a little too curious. Surveillance footage showed him photographing mailboxes, mine included. Then came the letters. Anonymous. Threatening. Rambling about the network still being active. Turns out, Cheryl made friends in prison. Real estate grifters, title scammers, all sharing tricks like recipes. And one of them had started a company called Secure Future Holdings. Sounded innocent. Until you realize they'd been trying to quietly acquire properties linked to every whistleblower Cheryl ever crossed. Yeah. We're back in it now. Kyle's with us full-time, helping run what we call the 228 project, named after our old house number, now our call sign for helping other folks like us fight off predatory HOAs and property fraud. Last week, we saved a retired teacher from getting evicted by a fake lien filed by a shell company in Nevada. Winston stands taller than ever, and Baxter Stone still gets fresh flowers every month. But this story, it's not over. So now I'm asking you, when does a rule protect a community, and when does it crush it? When does order become control? And what would you do if your home became a battleground? Let me know what you think. Because out here, we are still fighting. And the line between peace and war is thinner than you'd believe. You ever come home and find someone just standing on your lawn like they own the place? Yeah, that happened. I got back a day early from a work trip, hoping for some peace, just a beer on the porch, maybe some jazz in the background, Baxter's